folks, welcome back to another Two Dudes Review. I'm Sam.
JT.
And we are tackling EOS, Island of Angels. It's a co-publication from Gray Fox Games and King Raccoon Games, designed by Felix Merticat. So, let's hit it. Alright, so the way we pretty much figured we'd do this is I'm going to show and just explain generally how setup happens, because there's really kind of a lot going on, and then JT will take care of the gameplay and the overview there. And again, we're not going to sap up too much of your time. We're just going to give you a good idea of how the game plays and so forth. So generally speaking, with setup, you're going to be randomly setting up demons and other kinds of these were called the
epic quests that are on the board, and those will come out based on where you randomly choose these different areas. So you have some that are island things that will randomly determine what goes there, and then there are other epic quests that will go around the oceans, and those will come out in a random fashion. So those get put out, but they also kind of generate how the game is going to feel, because you have different levels. There's 3 different levels of these epic quests in there. The third level is, of course, like super hard. Level 1s are super easy. So you do that. You're also going to populate for, depending on how many players are in the game, how many angel statues are going to be out in the board as well. So in a 3-player game like we have set up here, there's 7 different angels that come out. And then each player is going to take their board, and each player has different nations that are going to be part of the game. So it's kind of a variable player power situation that's going on here, because each of your different people have different special abilities for each of the different nations. So there's a lot of variability in there. So there's a lot of different things that come into setting up your specific nation. For example, the Noom people over here start with an angel. You don't get any victory points or anything like that, but they give you a passive ability and all that kind of thing that will help you out throughout the course of the game. You also set up a number of public objectives that are going to be the number of players plus 1. And these are just different ways that you're going to be able to get points, and these are all kind of race mechanisms as well. That's pretty much it for setup. That's a lot easier than it actually is. There's a lot involved with it, but it's not difficult. You just got to follow the directions in the rule book. So JT is going to take care of the gameplay overview, so hit it. Perfect. For in EOS, our job, what we're trying to do with our nations is we're trying to go in and become the most profitable. We have the option, or we have the opportunity to go into this island, defeat big bad guys, epic demons, to do epic quests, to help the angels as they are all currently petrified. Mm-hmm. And that is our goal, is to do those. Really, those 3 things are our main goals in the game. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, you're going to have your crew of your ship. You're going to have a shipboard with your tokens on it, your worker placement, if you will, and as well as a tally of how much gold you have. And you're going to have 5 crew members. Over the course of the game, you may gain new crew members. But they are your worker placement actions, and you'll be taking a worker and placing it on which one of those you'd like to do, and then they will all have separate actions. Basis of the game is you're taking your ships, you're moving around to these locations, and you're taking the appropriate actions. You are trying to get to these blessing locations so that you can pick up blessings, because you need blessings to take to the angels. And then as you take those to the angels, you can now save the angels. The angel will become part of your crew, just kind of like Nom here has an angel to start.
Yep.
They will provide you victory points as well as passives or sometimes one-time use abilities. Mm-hmm. They can also become a patron of yours instead, which gives you more victory points and lets you ignore a curse, but at the same time you lose the passives
and the in-game effects. So we're using the blessings to get the angels, and then once we have the angels, like this one here, if it wasn't a nom, he would come with a set of wings, and we need those wings to now travel over to wherever the demons are. And as you can see right here, we have to spend a set of wings, plus do a few extra things so that we can defeat that epic demon.
Yep.
Those are your three main, or those are two of your main issues or items there. The other ones are to go to these epic quests, and again, they have a cost in demons or movement or upgrades, whatever the cost may be. But you're trying to go and get these tiles. We have this Chronicles board here, which tells us how long the game is going to last and really how we chronicle our adventures. As any one of us gains an angel or defeats a demon or gains one of these epic quests, we are going to continue to move down this board. And as we do so, it's going to spawn new demon lords, as well as kind of give us a timer for when this game ends. Once somebody hits the end of this track, then that's the end of the game. Everybody else, besides the person that hits this, is going to get one more turn.
Yep.
And that's going to end the game. We also have these symbols on here, which are a encounter or event deck, which will have some kind of event abilities and upgrades and things that will happen to each person every time we hit one of these spots. But in a 3-person game, then we are looking at, I think it was 11.
Yeah.
11 of those has to be done by the 3 players. So picking up angels, defeating demons, or doing epic quests. Everything on your board helps give you that ability between movement, or you can do things like you can actually purify so that there are no more demons in these areas. As you travel across the board with your boat, with your ship, you're going to gain demons. They're going to continue to attack you, and these are not like the major demons, but these are minor demons. And your ship is going to have a track up on top, which you can track your power with this little sword icon. And it will also, it's kind of a two-way street on that. If you hit 0 on power, you can also track demons, which means that you have more demons now on your ship than you've been able to defend against. So your balance act of this track continually goes up and down as you try to balance your power and the amount of demons that you're fighting against. You also have this protection track along the top, which will move up as you go based on what you do. And in doing that, it will give you different benefits. It will also stop you at the end of the game. If you have demons past the protection track, you're going to lose some points. So this is basically you're beefing up your ship. You're making it stronger. At the same time, your crew members have morale. And as you raise their morale, you will get small in-game benefits. And they also have levels. So as they level up, you will now their actions will be better.
Yep.
I think the only other piece to that is you can do a build action, and on these build actions, these guys will go into like a tableau type of thing. Now this one wouldn't go here, but you will start to build up a tableau so that when you do their actions now become stronger. So, and that's kind of what you're doing, is traveling around, building up your ship, and making points.
Yep. And one of the neat things about the game is that each of these different things, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, is that each of these different people have different core things that they can do. So your scout is what's basically going to be moving your ship around. So when you use one of your people over here, that's what gives you the ability to use to move your ship around the board out here. Your first officer is going to be doing different things.
It's very specialized per whatever your
nation is. Yeah. So the Noom's first officer is all about rolling this fate die, which is going to be giving you random different things. So it could make you move your ship. It could let you get an upgrade, a level up for one of your other people. It could give you more money. It could also give you more protection,
more demons,
and it can also add more demons. Yeah. So it's kind of a luck of the roll there. The quarter beast is what's going to allow you to play more journey cards, draw more cards into your hand, and play more. Your treasure is what you're going to be fueling your economic engine, because a lot of these things that you're doing, you have to pay money to do. Any of these actions, generally speaking, cost you cash. And then your warrior is what's going to be putting more soldiers, more warriors onto your boat by increasing the strength of the people that are there. So each of these things do those basic actions in varying degrees of balance based on the nation that you're playing in that variable player power field. So that kind of gives you an idea of how the game plays. So let's get to our final thoughts. So it's really a worker placement game, but it also has that race to the finish feel to it as well, because you're really, and we talked about this a lot during our plays, if you can find that track to kind of follow, to kind of almost like a Oregon Trail type thing, where you're trying to find the path of least resistance to get all the stuff done that you want to get done. If you can find that path faster than everybody else, I think you're going to do better.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. It's very much a race game. I mean, the game actually moves fairly quickly. I mean, overall length of the game is probably, what, hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on the play.
I'd say probably about 2 hours.
But that's more so because of each turn takes a little bit of time to evaluate what you're doing with your main action, your secondary action. But overall, the speed of the Chronicles moving along is pretty quick.
It kind of snowballs on you.
It does.
It doesn't, because you're looking at this track and you're like, wow, there's so many spaces, there's so many events. But when there are 3, 4 people that are taking those away from you and leapfrogging over the last person, that really kind of makes the game go a lot faster than you think it's going to at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and you could very much see several of those go by in 1 or 2 turns.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely, because you have multiple players that are trying to do those epic deeds and all that kind of stuff, those chronicled actions.
It also has a really nice mechanic where you're doing your worker placement, but then like some of those games, you feel bad when you're taking your workers back. In this one, you're taking your workers back and you're placing them on your ship, and for every one you place back, you get an extra reward. So it's a nice, every single thing you do is giving you something, whether it's raising morale or leveling or whatever else. It's always giving you something to add to your arsenal of materials.
Sure. Yeah. One of the things that I really kind of enjoyed about it, and we really haven't got to pros and cons yet.
Sure.
We're just talking about different parts of the game that we enjoyed. I really did like the protection mechanic for your ship. I did like that. I liked how you can upgrade it, and that lets you kind of mitigate if you're taking monsters, a lot of monsters. It allows you to mitigate how many points you're going to be losing at the end of the game. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, but I think the component that they used is a little bit wonky for that, and it's such that it doesn't lock into position. So you really have to be careful with that protection board as it's sliding back and forth, that you don't jostle it too much. But the mechanism that it's standing for, I really enjoyed that protection mechanism and the power, the strength mechanism of how many dudes you have.
Yeah,
on
the way the track works, it's either power or it's demons. Right? You're in the positive or you're in the negative.
Yep.
And if you're too far in the negative, you're going to start getting some disadvantages if you don't have your protection track moving, and if you're up in the positive with lots of power, you can actually get some extra benefits. So that's kind of nice too.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really cool thing.
Yep.
So that was neat. So that's pretty much what the game is all about. It's all about using your workers to go get resources, and then utilizing those resources to fuel getting to where these epic deeds are going to have to take place, and then accomplishing those deeds, making sure that you're moving around in such a way that it's logistically efficient.
Yeah.
That's really kind of the core of the game, is how efficient can you be in getting around the board to all of these different places, and balancing your power to the demons that are attacking and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
efficiency is really the key, I feel like.
That brings up one of my negatives on the game, though. It's just the fact that if you don't efficiently manage one single, you take one wrong path, it can be a hard fight to get back. So like you're too far away from everything all of a sudden, and then it feels very difficult to get back.
I do, yeah. I definitely would agree with that. But I think that also plays into the idea of the more you play this game,
charting your course,
the better you're going to be at it. You're gonna find those places, and it kind of plays into that nautical theme.
Sure.
You know, people who spend a lot of time on the seas, they know the best ways to go, and that's what this game is kind of fosters. It fosters that idea. The more you play it, I think the better you're going to be at it.
For sure.
Even though there are random elements in it, you're still going to be better at it the more you play it. But I think you can say that about most games anyway.
Yep.
But I really think about it. What do you think about the demons and the curses that they bring out and all of that kind of stuff?
That's one of my favorite things is the curses, really. They, any game that brings out a current turn, modification or modifier.
Yeah.
And these demons, obviously, if we don't take care of them, they can stack up and you can have multiple modifiers. But every game, you're going to have different modifiers going on at different times, and you just have to adjust to that. Yeah. So I like those. Those are probably my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
Those and the angels.
Yes.
I think the way that they set up, one thing about this game is the way that your crews are, they're all very, very different. And it's very neat to see, because this is one of those games where you're like, oh, you're super powered, you're way overpowered, no, you're way overpowered, no, you're way overpowered, no, now this guy's way, every single thing on the board feels overpowered.
Yep. It's just how can you use your special ability? How good can you be at using your special ability? That's what really balances the game out, and I think that's a cool thing about it, because we definitely had those discussions where, wow, what you can do is really cool. Wow, what you just did or what you just got to start off with is really cool. How can you how can you leverage those special things that you can do to the best of your ability? And that's really where the crux of the game lies. I think
that's really where the crux,
being able to use your powers best.
Yep.
I think we both liked the game.
Sure.
We both liked the game. Yep. I think we both enjoyed our plays of it. So let's talk about some pros, and then we will get to some cons, because we do have some cons about it. But again, like following the flow of the channel, we're gonna stay positive, but we're also not gonna lie to you. And there are some things that we didn't like about it, but we're gonna stay positive about them. So my first thing, and I really kind of touch on this a lot, and when we were doing a live play, one of the people that was watching, this was their first comment, wow, I love the table presence. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy about this game. The table presence, the artwork, the presentation of the game is so good. It's so good. I really enjoyed the artwork. The iconography is not that bad. It's intuitive. The way the board is split up into different regions is also thematic, using those white caps and those waves, that wave kind of design. I really enjoyed the graphic design of this game a lot. What did you think?
100%. Yeah, I really like the graphics. I love the artwork. I love the angel artwork. I love the crew artwork. Yeah, it's all really nice. This lays out really well. Placement is really easy to see.
Yep.
The track is really easy to understand. All of those. And like you said, the iconography is really smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? What's one of your pros?
I think one of my pros is back to what we said before, though. I really love how different everything is, right? Because every play is going to be significantly different. I love the fact that you can gain new crew members, you can gain different ships, you can find different items out there. It's very thematic in, all of those things. But they're not free, and they don't give them away to you all the time. Like, you really have to work to get some of this stuff. So I like the fact that, this is all the thematics of it. The angels are all frozen, right? They're all petrified, right? The demons are basically ruling the area. You've got the big ones, but you got the little ones. So as you travel around, you have to continually battle against, these demon minions, right? And try to keep your power up. That is a struggle. This power track, kind of like you said, it really is fun to balance.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep, the variable player powers are just one of my favorite mechanisms in games is to have variable player powers, because me being different than you and trying to do the same things is really fun to me. I'm not that good at it. I am usually not very efficient, and I usually can't do things, but I have so much fun playing games like this because I'm different than you.
Yep.
And that's just a cool thing at the table. So, yeah, that's awesome. Another thing that I really enjoyed about it was the how even playing cards gives you points at the end of the game.
I was going to say that was my next piece.
Really?
Like
That's cool.
The action cards and the upgrades. This game's a game where you can you're racing here, but you can kind of focus on other things to get you points in the end, right? You can focus on playing a bunch of action cards.
Yes.
You can focus on every one of these gives you 3 points at the end of the game. Every action card gives you 2. So there's other ways to absorb points other than just going for those.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Totally. Yeah, that's cool that we were both thinking the same thing at the same time.
That's why I had just picked up the cards. So.
Yep, playing these two kinds of cards. Every single card of these that you play, the journey cards, gives you 2 points at the end of the game. Every one of these upgrade cards gives you 3 points at the end of the game, and I just really enjoy that because even if you're kind of swinging and missing on getting to these different things on the board, you can still kind of make up for some of that by just playing a lot of cards. And I really enjoyed that about that. It's almost like a built-in catch-up mechanism that doesn't feel like a catch-up mechanism. Yeah. It's just another thing for you to do.
Yep.
So I like that a lot.
And you're rewarded for bringing the morale up on your crew, and you're rewarded for leveling them up, too, because those are both worth victory points at the end of the game as well. So
I'm going to also say for a kind of a fourth pro, it's also going to be kind of a half con, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But the fourth pro is the component quality. I think the component quality of this game is really, really good, but there's one thing that I hope they upgrade in like a second printing, and that is the player boards and this little power track. So it's a pro because the component quality overall is really good. It's really high. The card stock is great. The artwork is good. The level of quality that's there. But there's one little thing that's our first con, I think, and that is the player boards. I really think they need to be double layered.
Yeah.
Dual layered card. I think holding all of these different pieces, these different moving parts that are on the player board, having a spot for them to sit in would be stellar. But on top of that, at the very least, I think the top of the player board needs to be serrated.
Yeah, this is the most difficult one, right? And like you said, there's 12 pieces on this board at all times, plus your workers. And those 12 pieces, like these, they move around so much. Yeah. And then this is really hard, not only to keep in place, but to visually see if it's still in place, So I agree 100%.
But I mean, this that's kind of that's a minor thing for me as far as a con is concerned. I can do a cutout myself. Yep. I can take the time and cut this out and make sure. But I think the dual layered player boards, I know they're expensive.
They'd be fantastic.
But they'd be fantastic. Yeah. I think they would really make this game shine that much more. My second con of game, and this is really the only other con of the game that I have, and it's kind of a cardinal con for me. This one takes one thumb away, period, and that is the downtime. Sometimes, some of the things that are really fun to do, they just take a long time to do, and that translates to downtime for everybody else. The regroup action, if you've used all 5 of your dudes, those are now 5 things that you have to do on your turn instead of just usually 1 or 2 things that you're doing on your turn. And that really makes the game kind of elongate sometimes. So for me, there's a lot of downtime on this, and it immediately subtracts one thumb up for me.
Yeah, and it's not something that you can like pre-plan out like every one of those locations.
Yeah.
Because of how much everything continues to change.
Yes.
When you do those 5, they're 5 small things, but every single one of them takes consideration.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with that. And the other piece of that is right. You might be on this side of the, or you might be on one side of the board. Somebody else, these other guys are on the complete opposite side of the board. Like, you're not worried about what they're doing whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're at that point playing your solitaire game in this corner, and so if you have to wait,
But again, it's the only real con for me for the game. Unfortunately, it's a big one.
Yeah, I understand that. I think the con that I have for the game is a mechanical con, and that's just the fact that when you're going in to interact with the epic items or the main demons or whatever else, you're using one turn to get there, and then the next turn to interact with them, and that becomes very. It's hard on your mind because you have to go in there. You have to basically spend everything you need to spend to defeat it. You just can't defeat it until the next turn.
Where you can take the chronicle action.
When you can take the chronicle action, which is a really weird. It's too easy to run in and be like, I'm defeating this guy.
Yeah.
But it just mentally, it has a weird disconnect.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a stopgap. It's where, you move in, you pay everything that you have to move in, but you're not actually going to deliver that death blow until the next turn.
Yep.
So it's a little bit of a
and some of those just feel kind of weird, but that's not a big deal either. The other thing is I think that, that because you randomize the angels, you could easily randomize to where one side of the board is extremely packed with stuff, and the other side of the board is completely devoid of any reason to go to it.
I think that's one of the things that over time you can not do it randomly.
Sure,
you can kind of pick the ones so that they're evenly spread out, so that everybody has equal access to that kind of stuff. I could see doing house ruling that kind of handles that, and you don't do things randomly. You just pick what you want to play with and go from there. All right, so with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and give our ratings. I'm going to give EOS Island of Angels 1 thumb up. I think it's going to be a game where I think you need to try it before you buy it, if at all possible. Do your research and see what you think. You've listened to this review so far. You've heard what we like about it. You've heard the things that we didn't like about it. I think that it's a good game. I enjoyed myself with it, and I think it's a game that I will readily play again. But it's not one of those games where I'm going to be like, absolutely need to go buy it, absolutely need to go do it. I think you need to do your homework first to see if this is going to be the kind of game that's going to fit on your shelves and your table.
Group, yep. I'm
Okay.
in the same boat. I'm a 1 thumbs up. I think this is definitely worth playing. If somebody wanted to play it, I'd be happy to play it because I love exploring the cruise.
Yeah.
But it's not a game where you're going to sit down and think that we're going to have a tactical battle and the score is going to be 2 points apart. It's things are going to go whichever way they go, and you just have to have fun and play it. So.
Yep.
Which I'm fine with that.
Yep. All right, so that's 1 thumb up for me, one thumb up from JT. Yep. So that is it. Thank you for joining us. We certainly appreciate your time. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, think about hitting those like and subscribe buttons and hit that bell icon too, because that'll let you know when we're putting up more videos. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
Take it easy.
Take care.